everybody. Welcome to The Right Conversation with Shari Pheasant, where we talk about the hard stuff. I get into the real good things that you really want to hear when you listen into conversations with people. Look, communication isn't the biggest problem on a team. The biggest problem on a team is not having the right conversation soon enough. And the right conversation is really about 5 factors. Talking to the right person about the right thing at the right time, with the right tone and intonation, and with the right intentions. So join me for the right conversations that I have with my guests, and you get to hear all about the hard stuff. You're gonna love this. So let's dig in. Hi, everybody. Shari Pheasant here with another conversation that's going to be very interesting. Today, I get to interview Dr. Dana Knana. Did I do that correctly?
Yes.
Now, Dr. Dana is a professor in the business department at Colorado Mesa University. He also holds a position with Scott's Motor Company, Scott's Automotive. And they have how many locations now, Dr.
9.
Dana?
We have 9.
9. Now, I know he just got promoted to chief of operations now, right? But you had an interesting title before that. Now, by the way, Dr. Dana is the president of Dignity Missions. He comes from a very small village in Nigeria that I can't pronounce.
Mbiokporo.
Oh, do that again. Say that one more time.
Mbiokporo too.
See, I love that. Oh, I love that. And in fact, you happen to be in Nigeria right now, yes?
That's correct. I am in Nigeria right now as we speak.
So ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Dr. Dana to the podcast today on The Right Conversation. And we are going to dig in about employee engagement, the employee life cycle, and people. That's what it's going to be about today. So if that has interest to you, stick with us and listen to what we're going to talk about. I just checked Gallup, and the 2022 report, Dr. Dana, says that 23% of our people that are working are engaged. It says that they are quietly quitting. In fact, 59% are quietly quitting, 18% are loudly quitting, so they say it out loud, and 23% are thriving, right? So the engaged are thriving. The rest of them, what's happening to them? And there's 44% of people saying they're experiencing more stress today than ever before, right? 53% of them are looking for another job, right? Now, 22% in other countries like Australia, New Zealand, but in the United States and Canada, it's double that, 44%. So you're in the people business. Tell me, why did you choose? I mean, it's a hard road, right? Why did you choose this piece of profession?
Well, as far as this profession in terms of automotive or being a professor, which one?
Well, you're a professor, you chose the automotive industry, and your focus is people. What, in fact, your recent title before the chief of operations was, wasn't it the chief people officer or something
pretty
like
much that? That's what it is. So you deal with people. And Shari, as you know, working with people is not easy. So I chose to work with people because people are what makes us. If you really get to understand people, sometimes we will enjoy people. And there's so many people in life, you see, they try to run away from working with people, not because they don't understand. For me, if something is difficult, I want more of it. Because if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to make you. You know, if it challenges you, it will make you. So that's why.
But not everybody's like us, right? That's where we connect. So what do you do? I mean, you're in operations. It's about ROI, right? A business's number one job is to make money. Convince me that means I need to pay attention to people, because I consult all day. And I have a hard time with my CEO saying, look, if you pour into your people, your ROI is going to come. So tell me, where are you with that?
So Shari, what happened is, yes, people can come in and sell all they want. Like in our business, you know, we do the sell. But it's not all about sales. Sales without people is basically transactional. You're just being transactional. You want to have the people in mind, understanding that we connect, you know, we're bigger than just sales. We're bigger than, life itself. That's what is very, very important, that we take people very seriously and understand that the more we really recognize people and pay attention to them, the more they do. Sometimes people think that money is the only thing, but there are people that all they want to hear is just that one little thank you. You did so well the other day. Thank you on how you handled that customer. Thank you on how you presented that situation. It represented us. Those are the things that people need. That little pat on the back, on the shoulder, is more than just. So people are very important, but we have to know how to connect.
And you're very specific about that. That's one of the things, right? Is don't just say thank you, but thank you for, and be very specific. It shows that you saw what they were doing. I think that's a really important piece. Do you have a story, something that you experienced where maybe, I don't know, people weren't focused on people, you went in, you helped them focus on people, and you solved something by doing that? Is there something that comes to mind for you?
Oh,
We all
yes.
learn through stories, right?
Yes, there's so many of them. There's so many times that I've worked with people, and people always tell me, they will say, I really appreciate the fact that you take the time, to listen. You take the time to do this. Now, when I remember my time back with my former boss in a 501, a big company. I don't want to say the name, but anyway.
Yeah, no companies. We're good. Fortune 500 company, though. Big one.
Fortune 500 company. And
Yeah.
he told me, he said, if we want to do good with people, we should always be good finders. So I took that to heart. I am always encouraging every one of my manager, be a good finder. Shari,
what's a good finder?
A good finder is, instead of you just looking to see what that person is doing, yeah, they messed up again. Oh, look at that, they messed up again. All you're doing is find the good that people are doing. The little good that you find in them, you say thank you on those specific things. That is going to encourage them to do more. So you find the good in people rather than trying to nitpick on little things that people do. That is almost like pushing people down, breaking the spirit.
How does finding the good correct the wrong? Help me? All right. And I know, but we're having the conversation, right? When you get on the right conversation with Shari Pheasant, with Dr. Dana, we're going to have the hard conversations that people don't typically have. And they can listen to them in a safe space, and they can bring them into their world as they're ready. But we typically, right, someone forgot to clean the car, or whatever that was before they give it back to the client, and then we're upset about that. You're talking about finders. How does that situation sound when you have to course correct someone and you want to do it by finding their good? What does that sound like?
Well, the way that sounds like is, you know what, Tyler, I really believe in you, and I know you could do better than that. There must have been a reason why you forgot to clean that seat or wipe that steering when you were done with that vehicle. What I want to tell you is there's so many areas that I've seen you do very well, which means that you're very capable of doing that, but there must have been some distraction that got you away from doing that. So I really appreciate, and I encourage you next time, I want you to get that, corrected, and don't let that happen again, because I know you're better than that, because I've seen you, you've done that before. In the previous 3 calls that came in, you did it perfectly. But except on this one, which tells me that there must have been something that distracted you. So I made my story right there I made the point, but I also find the good on this person that has done some good things, so life, there's so many ups and downs. If I keep, you keep telling people you did this wrong again, did that wrong again, basically you break the spirit. You want to make sure that at least find something good in somebody and encourage them.
Okay, so when do we decide a mistake is a pattern or a trend that we need to work on? Do you?
Well, definitely, Shari, don't take this the wrong way. You don't want to keep on letting things go. There are times, so for example, what I tell my employees is like this. I do not wait until something is wrong before I come to you. So what I usually do is I do a meeting with them, a one-on-one, and I set up a time. Most of the time, I have them bring their agenda to me, and that gives them the room to speak their mind. And then I will add mine on that agenda. Sometimes what we do as, we climb up that ladder and we get there, we feel like we're God. And so we start telling, telling them what to do. I build mine from bottom up. I allow my employees to come with the agenda.
Let's get back. We were talking about how do you know when you talk to somebody, because it's about the positivity, right? You're correcting an action that wasn't appropriate, that you don't want to see. And what you were saying, you're talking about a feedback model. I love feedback models, right? And where you talk about how you believe in them, the things you want to correct, and then you go back to how you believe in them, right? The good, bad, we sandwich it. There's a more business name for that feedback model, but we'll call it the sandwich model for this podcast,
That's
right? And what you do. So tell me, what does that look like for you?
So basically what that would look like is a situation where you start doing some documentation, which is very, very important. You want to document what is going on so that when you start finding a pattern, then you can understand what exactly is really going on. I can't just, most of the time when I document stuff, it's not because I'm actually documenting the people, but I'm trying to—
Like you're not writing them up. This is just a private documentation.
Exactly. So that's for my own recollection to see, is there really a pattern here? So through my documentation, if I start seeing a pattern, then we have a little problem. Like I said before, I usually don't wait until people really fall face down before I address things. I address things as they happen, so that you never get to a situation where you say, somebody's like, how come nobody ever told me?
Right, because we ignore it. That's right. I always say, everybody, communication is not the biggest problem on the team. It's not having the right conversation. And those are typically conversations we need to have sooner. Hence the podcast, right? Is that if we were willing to go when they made the mistake and talk to them and counsel them and take that time, the first time, we may have a different result than when we just ignore the mistake and complain about it to a different person.
Exactly. Exactly. So we got to make sure that, those things are happening. We're having those conversations. I never want to live by regret, and I never want any of my employee to ever live through regret, saying nobody ever told me that. That's why, to me, if I ever have somebody, let somebody go, there's never a surprise, because that conversation is ongoing. So
they knew it was coming.
Exactly. As we speak, Shari, last week around this time, I was, planning that process of letting somebody go a week from today. And guess what, Shari? When we were done with that separation, I got a very good email from the person saying, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Wait. Let's hash this out here. Let's pick this apart for a minute. You had to let somebody go, and that person sent you a thank you email. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm telling you, Sherry.
And I think that's what we were talking about before it disconnected, right? We were talking about, tell me a situation where things happen, right? Because people learn through stories. And so how do they learn? So tell me about that. What, maybe without names, but just, right, let's talk analogetically, right, where we have no names, but we understand the situation.
Yes. So basically what happened is, we've had different situations where something happened, we address it, we talked about it, we said, this is what we need to do. My thing is always to trust everybody, but verify, give everybody opportunity, so that way they can, see what they got. Maybe that was just a bad day. But anyway, things happen, we, took care of it, allowed the person to continue. But this last one finally happened. And here I am, thousands of miles away, hearing this situation. So I'm dealing with it and talking to my manager about it, and we brainstorm on what we needed to do. And we finally came up to a conclusion that the best thing was for a separation, because we've done the best we can. Like I said, Sherry, I never leave any stone unturned, and I never leave anybody with a doubt that am I going to be fired or what? Because I never want anybody to have that feeling. But when you get to that point, it's coming. So like I said, this individual, that same evening before his email was shut down and everything, he took the opportunity to get in the company email, send me a thank you email for giving him the opportunity to experience how we work with people, how I work with people. So yes, that's what happened.
So a question, would you give him, if a new employer called for a recommendation, right? What
Yes.
would you give him a recommendation?
Yes,
For
I
hire.
would. Yes, I would. Usually most people will ask you, would you rehire this person? Yes, I would, on a different circumstance, because Sherry, the thing that we all have to understand is, I'm sure you've heard the saying, once bitten, twice shy. Okay.
Yes.
So for example, if somebody got to that position, plus the fact that, as you know, you're in the business, our people, we make a lot of money. The people make a lot of money. So if somebody was to let go with that amount of money that they make, and then there's a little chance that they can get back again, shall I tell you, they'll watch every step of the way what they do to make sure they maintain that high standard. So one thing that I tell people all my life is, I am not worried if you fail, because failure is an event. It's not a person. Failure does not define you. So I just want people to fail. But the more you fail, the better you become. So if you never fail, you probably will never be a strong person. I failed myself many times, in life, and that's what makes me a stronger person and very much aware of what I need to do on a given day, so that's why, yes, I will give him a recommendation.
Well, and they say we learn more from our mistakes, right? We know that one too. Yet when we make mistakes, we don't embrace them, right? Some of us hide them even. And my husband was just going through that. He found something that was broken, had been run over, a squeegee, and nobody told him. And he was like, that they ran it over is one thing, but that they didn't tell me and they hid it, that's another thing, because it was hidden. It wasn't just there. They didn't do it and not know it. I mean, it was obviously picked up and then hidden. And so it's really about having those open relationships and knowing that it's okay to fail and make a mistake. And we can move past that. And I think leaders have a hard time. What I've seen is they have a hard time embracing those mistakes. They aren't patient enough for patterns or trends. I love when you said, you just make a note. Right. I promote that all the time. Look, you don't have to write somebody up to make a notation in writing so you don't forget it. Right. When we do reviews at the end of the year, it's not about just remembering 2 months of work. It's about the whole year of their participation. Yes. So tell me, you're a professor. You work for an automotive a conglomerate, right? Because there's several shops that the company, and you also go to Nigeria, where I believe that's where you're doing your ministry, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Like, do you have 2 lives? Is there another one of you in a closet?
Sherry, I wish I did. So right now, what I'm doing here in Nigeria is from morning time so I wake up about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I shower, get ready, and I go to the village, work with the people, and as I'm walking, I'm trying not to rush them, but at the same time, I want to get back here before 5 o'clock in the evening. The reason I come here before 5 o'clock in the evening is because that's when I'm going to catch up with about 7 o'clock in the US, which is 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And when I
so 5 in the evening is 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here. Yeah.
Yes. And that point, then I'm going to work till about 2 in the morning in Nigeria to catch up with about 5 o'clock over there. So that's how my life goes. I wish I had the two life that you're talking about, because that's almost like a two life. But just if I have a little minute, let me tell you a little bit about what I do. And
Yes.
especially, yes, I'm just going to maybe give you a very condensed version of it, starting from yesterday. I've done a lot of stuff, but let's just start from yesterday to today, which is very, very fresh in what we just do. Yesterday, I had 5 girls, and I spent a lot of time with those 5 girls. I started my morning by taking them to, they came from the village to the city. And so they met us in like a restaurant. They met us at a restaurant. So I bought all of them food, so that they can have something in their stomach and get ready. And Sherry, these people they've never seen anything like that. One of the men, after I walked up there to pay the money, he said he's no longer hungry because the money was too much and he felt very guilty to eat. I said, eat the food. So, Sherry, what we did was we went to different stores and different locations. I had 3 girls that wanted to learn how to sew. So I had to take them to go and register them at the place that they're going to learn how to sew. Then I had to pay the place, and then we had to go and buy the equipment. Luckily, every year when I come in, I buy the sewing machine in advance, understanding that that price of that sewing machine is not going to be the same. Last year, I bought 3 of them, left it right here in my house. Today, those machines, they've gone up like, on the Nigerian currency, they've gone up about maybe 15,000 Naira, higher than it was last year. So today
What is
I
that?
went.
Translate that into US dollars.
So for example, the machine we bought today is about, let's see here, let me do my calculator. So the machine we bought today was cost us about 120,000 is what we bought that. So if you divide that by 1,200, that's $100 per sewing machine.
A sewing
Yeah.
machine. That's not a bad price. That's not bad,
Yes.
but that's higher than what sewing machines were before.
Yes, it's higher than it was. So that's just buying that sewing machine. Then you have to do the servicing, you have to do all the other stuff, and then they have to bring it and deliver it to my house. And so we bought 3 more today. Yesterday we bought a generator. Sherry, don't be surprised if this place get dark. Don't worry. My generator will kick in. So generator is always on, and each day we spend about 60,000 Naira to generate the electricity every day. That's just how it works here. So we put all those girls yesterday, we bought all this stuff, and then today what we did was we took food items to the village, and we go and find people. I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but what we used to do before was every year for 19, well, we're now in 2024, this will be 20 years. For the past 20 years, I will go there, I will go door to door and give people food. So 2022, the light bulb came on, I talked to my wife, I said, so we've been giving these people food, then what? So I said, you know what, let's start teaching them how to fish instead of giving them fish. So, Shari, starting from December 2022, we started teaching them how to fish. That's why we are training those people.
How to sew, right? How to have a profession, how to
exactly.
create a revenue stream for your home, understand what that is. Well, I'm sure you've loved this conversation, and you can tell that it's not over yet. So join me on the inside in the next podcast, where we're going to continue our conversation.